Are we all ready? This way, Steve. Come on, let's go. Steve, where'd you go? This way. Come on. You come on. Getting old, aren't we? 39 degrees, 9:45, January 23. High tide. And pretty comfortable compared to all that cold weather we've had for so long. One streak is ending. We had one day in a row with sunshine. Sunday afternoon and Monday morning. Now we begin a new streak of gray sky and a new streak of temperature above freezing. Day one of a multi-day thaw has begun in Boston. We'll watch the ice bucket. This is a solid. A little water in there. Despite this new thaw that's beginning, it's going to snow tonight. And so we're going to continue that streak of day 20 in a row with New England snow. Now, what other streaks are we working on? The number of days with snow in my yard, snow on the ground in my yard, now up to 10 days. And I do think it's going to snow, even though the temperature is going to be above freezing tonight. And what other streaks do we have going? It'll come to me. So that's a stratus sky with some nice waves. Should have seen it this morning. The sky over Boston. Very pretty. Lots of beautiful sunrise photographs this morning. And Warren Lavalley in Worcester, Massachusetts for the win, I think. We have a warm front coming at us from the south and a cold front coming at us from the north. On the big picture radar, it looks like a T with rain down the west side of the Appalachians and snow from near Chicago, where it's actually freezing rain, to near New York City, where it's a rain-snow mix today. And then if you look at the closer radar, me trying to hold my camera steady, looking at this weather tap time-lapse, snow coming down from the north, a little band there in Maine, and then rain and snow coming in from the west. So when I talk about New England weather being fascinating, I often mention our weather comes at us from every direction. And today it is coming from the north, new cold air. From the west, moist air, weak low pressure system on a boundary. And from the south, warm, humid air. And they're all going to clash right over us. So let's get right to the play-by-play using the NAM high resolution model. The upper left, that's the time. 0Z, that's 7 o'clock. It's raining and snowing. Green is rain, blue is snow. 10 o'clock, looks like it's raining in Boston. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, midnight, it's changing to snow. All the way down to Nantucket, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and it's ending in southwestern New England. The snow rain line lifts north or just shuts off, and it's snowing in much of Maine tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow night, not a lot going on. The front that's coming south is going to start lifting back north. And here comes another batch of rain on Thursday morning. But it's still below freezing in parts of northern New England, especially east of the Green Mountains. So red is freezing rain. We could have significant freezing rain with cold air damming east of the Green Mountains and especially the White Mountain. And just plain rain in southern New England. There's so much going on here. We have about 6 or 7 low pressure systems coming along on this boundary, and I'm trying to memorize and keep track of all of them. Not that easy. And that boundary is going to lift more north on Thursday and Friday before settling south. It's coast to coast. Let's look at the national advisories, watches, and warnings. 2 to 4 inches of rain yesterday in Southern California near San Diego. Major, catastrophic really, flooding yesterday in San Diego. El Nino flow is really kicking in. Oh, did I get off subject there? Back to the advisories, watches, and warnings. Look at that gray from Montana down to the coast of Texas, Louisiana. That is a dense fog advisory because the ground out there is just a huge block of ice. You know, if you see dry ice at a concert or something, that smoke apparent fog near the base of the musician's feet. So the ground is acting something like that, with the dew point coming up into the 30s, but the ground is frozen solid. So that's that huge fog area. And we're going to get into that fog too. More of a frontal fog than a ground frozen fog. Anyhow, a winter weather advisory in the purple coming right into New England. For off and on, wintry mix next couple days. Let's go to the lower 48 day after day here. There's the first system coming in, and even though it doesn't show a low pressure system, it is a wave of low pressure coming through tonight. And then it's another wave of low pressure coming through with the boundary lifting back toward the north tomorrow night and Thursday. And then Friday, parts of southwestern New England may see the sun with temperatures near 60, even as it's raining and freezing rain in Maine on Friday afternoon. That boundary still impossible to call, but I think from Boston points west and south, we probably do warm it up a bit, warm it up into the 40s, maybe some breaks of sunshine. And then the whole thing starts settling south. And here's a major change to the forecast. What happens Saturday, another system coming at us with rain and snow developing, and that rain-snow line trying to press south during the day Sunday. Yesterday, the guidance was dry on Sunday. And then Monday, where there was a storm for you, Martin, on Nantucket, now it looks like it's low pressure going to the Gulf of Maine, and rain may end as snow for you in southeastern Massachusetts. This is a moving target. So I don't think we can trust anything beyond the 48-hour forecast right now. Rex, I called the harbor master, and he's coming to get you to make you stop barking. No, seriously, I'm sure he's in a very important mission. And what's your major problem, Mr. T-Rex? He's smelling all the other animals. Off subject again, Tim. I think that the mountains are going to get some rain, and it's maybe freezing rain. Yesterday, Carl Weller showed me this photo from his house looking over at Mount Mansfield. Just gorgeous. The pinnacle of what happened after 3 weeks and 3 or 4 feet of snow. There's 55 inches of snow at the snow stake on Mount Mansfield. And every time we get a look like this, a view like this, all of a sudden the weather pattern changes. And we are going to have, like what Andre calls, the Mansfield medley. Believe it or not, it rained last night in the northern Green Mountains above 1,600 feet with a temperature of about 18 degrees. Super cooled H2O. Been a very interesting winter, hasn't it? And we're going to get inches of snow. We're going to get a layer of freezing rain. By the way, Josh at Jay said he skied in that little crusty layer, and it was almost not non-existent, but he barely noticed it. So anyhow, he says the skiing is still great. I know I owe you a snowcast. It's been a while since I've done a snowcast. T-Rex, calm down. This way. Come on, let's go. Yeah, so Josh did do some powder skiing yesterday. He said, you know, he's got some private backcountry that he knows about, and he says it's not quite deep enough. You normally need about 4 to 6 feet, but he's only got 2 to 3 feet, but it's such a solid 2 to 3 feet beneath. He can't do all of his launches, but he called it tiptoeing through the tulips just to make sure that they didn't hurt themselves or their skis yesterday. And I did some tiptoeing through the slush down there, which is going to be melting now. I think I'll still have snow on the ground for about 48 hours, so we'll keep this streak going. So that'll be snow on the ground days 10, 11, 12. I might get about an inch of snow. Oh, yeah, you want to see the snow amounts here for this next 3 to 5, an a.m. Snow amounts, not much, but it does show some snow accumulating on the ground all the way down to Nantucket. It actually shows more in southeastern Massachusetts than it shows in central Massachusetts. That's odd, isn't it? And then while we're here, I guess I'll show you the ice. Red is ice, and here's your freezing rain potential. It looks like, especially late tomorrow through much of Thursday, it looks like we have the potential for 1/10 to 3/10 of an inch of ice accretion. And it's better than regular rain, isn't it? Holds that snow in place. But anyhow, today should be a great ski day. The wind has finally died down a little bit. We're going to have many wind shifts over the next several days. There goes a tanker. We just missed that tanker. And every time the wind shifts, the temperature's going to change. So Getting colder before it gets warmer here in Boston, but then it gets warmer. And oh yeah, did I show you the way out there on the all over the place? Way out there, day 10. I think it's Wednesday, January 31. Backside of some cold, a huge area of warm to record warm air coming into most of North America to start February. So we're going to have some serious melting going on after that. But between now and then, a lot of action tending to be more cold than warm, especially at the Canadian border. More warm than cold in southern New England. Always exciting. Oh yeah. All right. So the Enmore yesterday was T-Rex and I going up the hill in the sunshine, and then TK going down, doing some beach combing, checking the winter harvest of shellfish. I didn't take any home. And walking in the slush down there. So that's going to be our Enmore. Ready? Steve, 3, 2, 1. Enmore. It's about freezing. Yay. Things are defrosting. First time since last Tuesday afternoon. So about 140 hours with sub-freezing temperatures. Birds love this area. So whatever you planted here, the seeds keep the birds going during the winter. Some gulls up there. Focus. Just past 3 o'clock, the ferry passing between Boston, Quincy there, and Bass Rock. That's that little rock that sticks out of the water. And you can only see it really at low tide. The sky has turned gray here just past 3 o'clock. Also at low tide, you can see that skiff that's been corkscrewed around its mooring now for more than a month. Hey, clean up your act, will you? Let's go down the beach. Check out that, what was saltwater ice. It's just kind of rested on the rocks. Temperature is above freezing, so it's melting. I'll show you the texture of that. Maybe we can even find an oyster or something down there to feed King the Crow. King Crow. Arr. And about 37 degrees. Matches up with the other thermometer, the Accurite in the house. And just emptied out a trace of rain out of that thing. Well, actually, it was snow from Saturday evening. Turned into about 0.01 inches of Saturday evening snow. And 0.2 going into the book on that one. Oh, the birds right there. Hello, birds. How was your day? Well, some interesting prints on these steps. Those coyote prints? Or did a dog decide to come up from the beach? That's what we need. Coyotes coming up in our backyard. But they're everywhere, right? Look, there's multiple footprints too. Up and down the steps. Great. Whoops. You're slippery there. There. I don't know if they came along the rocks or not. Hard to say. It's like, yeah, maybe. Okay. All right, so we're down the beach. Calm. Quiet. Not walking down those rocks. Kind of slippery. Kind of dangerous. Definitely helps to have a walking stick. Just kind of scampered down here. They're like a crab or a penguin. So anyhow, here's the texture of saltwater ice. Even if it was below freezing, it doesn't really get hard until you get down to, like, I don't know, single numbers. Below 0 is best. Anyhow, that's where the tide goes up and goes way down.
I'll just way down, way down. We're just starting to make progress in the ice department. I know there's some safe ice for skating. Thank you, Chris, for the images of your pickerel and your 5-inch thick ice in southeastern Massachusetts that you free. No pickerel was harmed in the making of these photographs. Let's see if I can find an oyster not to harm a quahog. Well, that did not take long. There's an oyster, and I don't think doing this will harm it, but I can just show you the oyster. Anyone see the oyster yet? Do you see the oyster? I still didn't harm the oyster, but it's under there. Mussels. Yep, you can actually take these home and eat them. Well, I don't know if it's legal, but I've done it, and no food poisoning so far. Let's find a better oyster. Is that another one right there? They're always attached to something. Yep. That one just broke itself free. But this is an alive oyster. Should I take it up and show you what it looks like inside? Maybe one. Took me about 1 minute. You know what I'd really love to find though is an alive razor clam. These are the tastiest things. So we know they exist here because there's the shell. Really hard to find those. Winter foraging. I'm not taking it. I want it to make babies. Spat. Spat. Don't really understand the sex life of oysters, but it has to do with spat. And Google it. That's probably good. Kelp. I think this is edible. I'd like to be a kelp farmer maybe one day. Whatever it takes. Clean up the water. Farm it. I wonder if we have the crabs this time of year underneath the rocks. Yeah, wonder not very long. It didn't take long. Kind of in slow motion, aren't they? Don't blame them. Hello. Would you like to be in a soup? Just leave me alone, will you? All right, and more and more and more. Just keeps on going. Like the tide. Goes down, then it goes up. More and more and more. Where's that skiff? Can we see that skiff from here? There it is. Okay. Later.